Thank you. We very much appreciate all of you who came here tonight. We are now ready to begin the questions from our audience. The candidate to whom the question is directed will have 2 minutes to respond to the question. Candidates are requested to respond only to the question asked. After the initial response, the remaining candidates will have an opportunity to rebut, but rebuttal is not necessary. Rebuttal time is 1/2 minute and must be related to the prior candidate's remarks. If the question is directed to all the candidates, and as I put them over, it appears these go to all the candidates, they will each have 2 minutes to respond in alternating order. Questions, so please let me know if you would like to have the question repeated. And your response time is 2 minutes. And let's begin with the questions. Pardon? Oh, yes. Please, question number 1, and this is directed to all 4 candidates. What, in your opinion, is the primary function of the United States Congress? So, we'll just...
Well, okay. The primary function of Congress is outlined in Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, and they are called the enumerated powers of Congress. There are 27 items there, and it's supposed to be a limited function. The power of Congress is supposed to be for implementing the rules that the government itself will run. And the rules, the laws are the rules that they are supposed to be set by, and the president is the enforcer of those laws and administers those laws, and the Supreme Court is the arbitrator if there are anything that goes on. But Congress itself, again, is very, very limited. It wasn't put there to intrude into our lives. And if you look at Article 1, Section 8, there's nothing in there about personal lives. It's all about, again, the government. It can tax, it can regulate commerce, it can do the maritime thing, it can set up the post offices and things like that. It has nothing to do with running our personal lives. That is up to us. We, the people, are the ones that give the powers to Congress. Congress gives us nothing, except grief, misery, taxes, and all that stuff. But I'm just saying that that we are the ones that have the power. The government is the people. And we have the power and the strength to change what goes on in Congress at the ballot box. Unfortunately, there is no recall for Congress like they do on some states. They can recall their elected officials. They don't have that in Congress. The only way that we can challenge them is at the ballot box, and that's what we're here for tonight, is to hold them accountable. But Congress itself is a very limited part of the country that is supposed to regulate the business of the country. And again, it's very limited. Okay, thank you. So that's where I am. Article 1, Section 8 defines it, and it's very limited. Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis. I'm going to enjoy following that. Congress is there to represent the people. We send representatives to Congress to do legislation, which is supposed to help individuals. They're not there to tell us whether or not we can buy a certain car, drink a certain size soda, or to force us to purchase health insurance, to tell us where we're going to spend our money. And the only way that we can change that is by sending someone else. If your voice isn't being heard, you've got to send somebody else. And the only way to do that is to vote. So Congress is supposed to be the voice of the people. The only way that it works is if the people use their voice and cast a vote. Looks like I'm going to be a little short on the time. Maybe I can hold that. I mean, I can hold it for later. That's it. Congress is there for the people. I'm arguing with the gentleman who's keeping the time. I'm okay. I'm gonna pass it on to Will.
Good for you. Good for you.
I'd especially like to thank Dennis, because Dennis has given you the academic definition of what Congress does. I would like to put a personal spin on that. Congress is supposed to represent live free or die. If you want to ride a motorcycle and not wear a helmet, your choice, not Congress's choice. As a representative in Congress, even though people are successful, have egos and pride, it is our job, any of us, to understand and contact you folk on a regular basis to find out what the will of the people is and voice that will in Congress. It's really very simple. Now, I've expressed a few things I would like to do to downsize government, but 99% of the time, I have to listen to you. We all do, because it is your desire, it's your voice that we are carrying in Washington. I thank you. I yield my time.
I've been told I gotta use a mic. We're the first line of defense in Washington for this item right here. We are the voice of the people. We are the representative of the people that send you to Washington, and we're to defend that Constitution with our lives if it means it. You send somebody to Washington to speak for you. They're supposed to stand up and be heard. They are liable to you as a constituency of that district that you represent. They're not liable to any party policies, any oversight, or any companies out there that happen to pad their war chest. Their vote is supposed to be your vote. I go to Washington, I'm your first line of defense for this item right here, and for your beliefs of how you want me to vote. That's what Congress is supposed to do. They're supposed to be the first line of defense, ladies and gentlemen. Let me repeat that. First line of defense for the government overreaching into your selective state. What demographic they have in California is also different than what we have here in New Hampshire. You owe that fiduciary duty to represent the people that send you to Washington against everything that government is trying to do against us here in New Hampshire. That's what Congress is supposed to do. Your representative in Congress is that person. That's your first line of defense. Thank you.
GrokTV.